Okay, so to continue on, we're going to look at the effects of land pollution. Okay, again, these are listed on that worksheet. I'm not going to go to it this time. I know it says we will here. What we're going to do is just skip on. I've just kind of made a shorter, slightly more understandable list. If you have printed out that worksheet, you can obviously have a little read. There's about 5 bullet points under a heading saying effects of land pollution. We're going to note down these 6. Okay, so again, little subheading, what are the effects of land pollution? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So again, you'll see the first few are all about wildlife and vegetation, the environment. Okay, land pollution destroys the resource of soil. Now remember, that mightn't sound very impressive to you, but remember, we grow all of our stuff from the ground, so we need to protect it. Vegetation that provided food and shelter to animals dies. Okay, so if there's no more food and no more shelter for animals, then the knock-on effect is the animals die. If we can't grow vegetation and the animals are dying, what are we going to eat, and so on. Upsets the balance of nature and what can survive and what can't. Okay, so this and the next one does severe damage to wildlife. This can cause wildlife to die out. It can force them to move somewhere else. Okay, and affect food chains and all sorts of things like that. Pesticides, fungicides and stuff can be highly poisonous to most animals. Some of them could even be poisonous to humans, or not poisonous, but certainly not very good for our health. In rare cases, land pollution can cause human health issues. Okay, and as we said already, landfills and contaminated land often smells horrible and forces people to move to a different area. So again, the impacts range from vegetation to animals to humans. Okay, make sure you note all of these down. What are the solutions then? Okay, so again, if we go back to our worksheet, which we were looking at earlier, okay, we're up here. There's a second page. Control measures, or what can be done. Now this got quite blurry, so I typed it out again. But this is what we can do to try and control or reduce or stop land pollution. Okay, so again, pretty much everything that's here I've put on the PowerPoint, so I'm going to go back to that just because it's a little bit clearer. Okay, and unfortunately we do have to make a couple more notes. So again, little subheading, what are the solutions? So we've looked at the causes, the effects, now the solutions. Educating people is key. What about single-use plastics, litter campaigns? We need to stop these things. Okay, educating industries, governments have to put stricter rules on industries about what happens or how to treat their waste. They can't just pump it out wherever they want or throw it away wherever they want. We need to educate or encourage people to sort their trash instead of sending everything to landfills. So you should have, in some countries, they've up to, where I'm from in Ireland, we have 3 or 4 different colour bins now. Food waste goes in one, plastics in one, glass in one, and everything else in another. Okay, so we can try and recycle and reuse as much as possible. I think about it. If your family was sending 4 bags of garbage every week to a landfill, if we could get that down to 1, and then recycle the food waste, the glass and the plastics and stuff, or the cans, that would be much better. Put laws in place to reduce or stop packaging on every single item in shops. Again, something that I struggle with here in the Bahamas is the amount of plastic bags. You can't buy them anywhere back in Ireland or England. They're just not made anymore. But still, I've seen people here buy, a packet of food, a packet of mushrooms, or a packet of something that's already wrapped in plastic, and then put it in a plastic bag. So we need to try and stop this packaging as well. And then reduction the use of pesticides and fungicides on food crops. Try and find alternative ways of growing our food that don't include these things. So that's the solutions. Okay. What we're going to do, I'm going to do a little case study just about the Dharavi slum in India. All right. Now I'm going to go through this stuff and leave you time so you could pause on each slide to have a little look. Okay. And what we're going to do is I'm going to show you some images and so on. We're going to look at the problems. All right. And some solutions. At the end, you're going to have 5 short questions. This is not an assignment. Okay. This is just some work for you to do. Just try and look at a real case example from around the world. All right, but I do want these answered into your notes, okay? So let's start off. Dharavi slum in India. First of all, the Dharavi slum is a world famous slum found in the city of Mumbai in India. Little definition for what a slum is here, okay? Map of the world, this is India over here, okay? We're all the way over here. So it's the other side of the planet from us, okay? But the Dharavi slum, a slum is an area where extremely poor people live in little shacks with little to no services. water, electricity, or sanitation. Sanitation is like sewage and hygiene. Okay, so it's a very poor part of the world. So let's see the conditions and stuff that they're in. The Dharavi, okay, so just again to zoom in, so if we look back, this is the whole world with India here. We're going to zoom into India. This is India here. The Dharavi slum is found in a city called Mumbai. Okay, so it's on the west coast of India, right by the sea. The blue is the ocean, the green is the land. Mumbai is one of the biggest cities in the world. It's got some very, very rich people, but some extremely poor people as well. So that's where the Dharavi slum is found. So this is what it looks like. Okay, so you can see all these little shacks packed in together. No roads, no lighting, anything like this. All made from kind of weak materials. All these little dots are rocks on their roofs, so the roof doesn't blow off because it's not nailed down. In the distance in the background you can start to see the edge of the city. Okay, again another picture, everybody cramped in together. Alright, buildings not really safe. A lot of them don't have doorways, they just hang a towel in the way. A lot of plastic sheeting and stuff like that. Okay, so the problems in Dharavi. Now this will help you answer question 2 or 3 later on. Okay, so why do slums, how did the slum develop? Why is it so dirty? What happened? So again, it's cities in poor countries. They urbanize quickly. This means they're growing at a very fast rate. So the city is getting bigger really, really fast. Lots of people moving in there. It's therefore difficult to deal with the huge quantities of waste that people produce. So again, there's too many people producing too much domestic waste. In addition, many of the settlements that were created in the poorest cities of the world are slums. These are unplanned. There's no streets, there's no sewage, there's no electricity, no phone cables, no internet, anything like that. This makes the collection of waste very difficult. Alright, so now you've got millions of people crammed into a space with no services. We can't collect the waste. Many of these cities also have a very low standard of environmental protection. This means that the industries or factories can get away with polluting the natural environment if they're creating jobs. So the government won't stop them. Okay, they'll just let them pollute as they want. So this leads to pollution of both water, air and land. Okay, so again some pictures just of the Dharavi slum. This big pipeline is in the next picture as well, and it's actually one of the major sewage pipes coming out of the city. So the Dharavi slum is built around this. Excuse me. Also, there's a huge landfill right by where the slum is. Okay, you can see this. You can see the little kid here walking along, and this is all rubbish, mountains of rubbish. And again, here's our pipeline. This is the edge of some of the little shack houses. Here's a guy walking home, and again you can see all the rubbish everywhere. Okay, so one of the questions asks you to describe what living in Dharavi would be like. I would use these pictures to help you do that. You can also then see here, okay, this was a river, but it's all just full of sewage and pollution now, rubbish everywhere. Here's another little kid, don't know what he's doing. You can see all the shacks around here. They wouldn't have any toilets, so all human waste would just go straight into the river. Okay, so again, you can imagine what the situation is like. So then the problems in Dharavi. Alright, the slum has started to expand. Okay, it's built on a landfill, like we said. The people use some of this rubbish and materials to build their own houses. Okay, so it leads to a huge range of health issues for the people. There's no sewage system, so raw human waste is flowing over the land and into water, like we just saw. There's so many people. We saw a problem of overcrowding that leads to destruction of any soil or vegetation that would have existed before the slum was built. So look, there's every problem in the world. Mumbai is a huge city with lots of different industries. As previously mentioned, the government lets these factories pollute the land as long as money is being made. This leads to a high level of chemical waste being spread over the land and causes even more health issues for local people. Alright, so again, that's all the problems. I would certainly describe 2 health issues for Dharavi, for people in Dharavi. Number 4, that's all answered in here. Okay, our last little bit then. Okay, just actually, surprisingly enough, is Dharavi the solution? So actually, Dharavi has become a huge recycling zone. Because these people are so poor they don't have jobs, what they've started to do is recycle on a crazy level. Okay, some scientists claim that Dharavi's recycling zone could be the way forward for all cities. Everything is recycled, from cosmetics and plastics to keyboards to everything that's put there. In the UK, we recycle about 23% of our plastic waste. Dharavi is up to 80%, okay, which is incredible. So it is humans who work to sort through the landfill where children and women sort through the rubbish for valuable waste. They have to work under the hot sun in appalling conditions, and they get about £1 a day. That's how much they earn, which is nothing. That's about $1. Actually, even less. On the edge of the tip, okay, the rag dealers sort the cloth they've found before selling it on to dealers. So there's cloth, there's plastics, cosmetics, everything is recycled. It is sorted into wire, electrical products, plastics, everything. People work in dangerous conditions with toxic substances without protective clothing, and this could affect people's life expectancy and their health. But this recycling has given people in the slums jobs, and they can make some money, and it recycles all that waste. But do you think, is this the way forward? Okay, so you have to think about the good and the bad from this slide here. You have 5 little questions, Okay, so describe where Darvey is found, should be easy. Explain why slums happen, so why did the slum build up? Again, that should be straightforward. What is Darvey like? Use the photos to help you, 3 marks. Describe 2 causes of health issues in Darvey for local people, should be straightforward. The last one, explain how local people in Darvey may be leading the way in recycling. We've just read about it, okay? In your opinion, do you think this approach to recycling in the slum is the best way forward? Why? Again, this is not an assignment, okay? But you can go back through and just answer those questions shortly under your notes for today. So add it to your notes.